it don't feel right. I just wanna break the ice. There's so much more to life than tears. There's so much more to life than fears. All I want is a night off.
Life goes up and it goes down. Life goes up and it goes down. Life goes up and it goes down.
Good morning, everybody. It is Friday, and we are live here at EUC 2023, live from the University of Limerick. We come towards the semi-finals, mixed division action. Great Britain taking on France, and it is live, wild and free here on ULTI.TV. Great Britain starting on defence, France on offence in the white with the blue shorts. That one floated up and around Lewis, who's in the specs today rather than just the contacts. Gaël on Salin, statistics leader for the side. Looking to try and find the reset back to Fouquet. France working nicely through the handler set. Mikhail marked against Płaczykowski, who leads on Salin out into space. And a nice clean hold to start there for France, taking a 1-0 lead.
France doing a very good job of moving the disc from one side to the other, manipulating their marks and getting free up the line again and again. Defensive pressure from GB is there, but not quite what they imagined. I bet as France hold clearly for their first point of the game. We saw Gaël Ancelin with the score here, and they're gonna have to limit him if they want to succeed.
Well, it's an easier on paper, isn't it? Just limit Gaël Ancelin. How difficult can it be?
Very difficult.
Extremely difficult, yes, that is 100% correct. 25th goal contribution of the tournament. He is clearly so key to everything France do offensively, and hell, when they flip him over to play D-line, he's not exactly a slouch there either.
Oh no, he's absolutely not. Besides him, I do think that many different people have contributed as well, but Gaël being the one person who has double the contributions everyone else has. So overall, a very well distributed stats base for France, as well as for GB. So yeah, I think it's going to be hard to see who to really limit, because they have so much depth, both these teams, that you can just play it over someone else, like give someone else more space.
Andrew Dick, happy to watch that one land out of the pitch. So Lewis wipes the disc as he brings it to the brick mark. Sitting one out into space here for Sam Wilson. The young Reading star takes the swing to Dick. Now pinged into the palms of Taylor. Taylor central. Defender tried to come in and get the poachers. Briggs offloads to Kwan, and now Kwan down the far side to Lewis. Loud communication from the French sideline as they change the game plan defensively. Briggs comes off the front with Schmidt in pursuit, and Briggs putting one up deep for Taylor, and it's knocked away brilliantly by Eva Borno.
We've seen GB this week so far in their game plan has been setting up people for hucks, moving it and gaining little yards and then bombing it out at some point. And France did a very good job of limiting these options, and when that shot came up, Bono was there and had the better position for the defense.
It was floated a little bit, and with someone like Taylor who could be so quick, I'd probably prefer a flatter, zippier option. So France with an early break opportunity. Put themselves in a good position early on against Germany in that quarterfinal yesterday by getting early breaks. Now they did struggle to get them cleanly as Bournov, Eva to Lisson. High, Schmidt elevates wearing those unusual odd shoes. And now the two Bourneaus, they look for some give-go, it's not there. Going back instead to Bouillon. And a pick downfield is just going to call a halt to things for a little while.
Good spacing for the French in general, but two players stopping each other from running around.
Swung all the way around the back to the young junior standout, Schmidt. The deep shot goes up. Couple of French receivers in the area. And really, they should have had it as well. It was in and out of the hands of Benjamin Fonrich.
Fonrich getting up high and early under pressure from Lewis. And GB on offense again.
A little bit of a life there for Great Britain, because in truth, Fonrich should have had that, and he probably knows it. Lewis fakes the break as Wilson clears out. Now Briggs on this sideline. The flick this time finds Taylor, who centres to Kwan, trying to get that break side movement and get the centre of the pitch, be able to kind of have more of the field available as options. Wilson popping one up around, not a problem though for Lewis. Sam strikes out. Kwan comes through. There's a bit of a spacing issue. And on ice, Lewis puts the hammer into the pack and it hits the floor.
A definite hospital pass for GB there, as they were lacking options anywhere and everywhere. France's second chance to start off with a break.
Can you see how Taylor instantly sagging off the mark as in and out of the hands of Lisson Bourneau from her sister Eva. Both World Games standouts for France, as actually World Games selections litter the field for both sides. Briggs picks up a third time of asking. I'm sure Great Britain would have liked to have this cleaner, but as long as they can put it in, all's well that ends well for them. Travel called. Bigger round goes to Wilson, who is wide open. GB looks to take advantage of the poach. Now Lewis and Wilson run it between one another. Back to Kwan. That looks like a stoppage. It is indeed.
A foul called. Not so sure on if it's on the offensive or defensive player, but
everyone seems to be in good spirits. A foul, a pick, all sorts going on in there.
there's a lot of people and not a lot of space there in this stack. Red zone for GB, not quite clean yet. We'll see what they can do after the stoppage.
Disc kick coming in from one, I think, when everyone's set in position.
Briggs will stop for some more discussion with Schmidt.
Maybe just a bit too much jostling downfield, perhaps.
That could be.
Because without being right in there, it's difficult to know. Everything does seem to be very civil just using those first few points to kind of establish a level of physicality that both sides and players within those sides are happy with. Of course, ultimate, theoretically non-contact sport, but some sides don't mind a little bit of bumping and barging. Just a little flip to Wilson. Attacks the break side space. Beautiful curving backhand to Kwon. Now Lewis. Dick takes up line. Again, sat out into space for Wilson. Good red zone defense here from France. They're forcing the slower possession. Lewis can't get free, clears through. Zipped to Briggs, who loses his footing a little bit, but picks himself up. Helen Thompson clears through. Taylor cuts to the front cone. And GB just happy to keep resetting. Can France grind them down? Kwon doesn't like the break. Takes it on at the second time of asking and finds Josh Briggs. It wasn't clean, and boy, did France make them work for it. But the Brits just about get it done, one apiece.
I'm not so sure Josh Briggs was the intended target. I thought Kwon was going to put it out into space for Taylor, who also slashed on that break side. See that first fake, well defended by Bono. And then the second time around, it seems like that disc just went out of her hands a bit awkwardly, but Briggs was there. And third time's a charm for GB, getting that first score to even it out at 1 apiece. And I really love the spacing of France when they were on offense, and they seem to be dialed in a bit more right now, firing on defense, and GB had to adapt to that, and they did that well with thinking about the options, not taking the first, but looking around and taking that second option that maybe France wasn't defending as cleanly anymore. You know, these 10 seconds of stall, you can't limit everything. So 10 seconds seems like not a lot of time, but in a player who constantly runs, it is a lot. And defending every single angle people attack is sometimes very hard, but I bet that's what both sides are going to try and do to limit options.
So the OI backhand from the lefty McHale for the pool. France back out receiving. First pass goes from Fouquet to the legitimately legendary Nasser Vogel. On the far side, Cheminot sticks with Vogel, goes around to Clara Matthias, playing a club ultimate with Yaka. Around Płatzakolski. Okay, are happy to sit off on the mark. Just want to gum up downfield movement. And Vogel going around. Again, France now being forced to just stay patient, work things through. And through Matthias's hands. The error will give Great Britain a second chance. McHale. There's a wide open poach of Turner, and he gets it out of his hands quickly to Agnew. The Scottish star centres to his long-time Albert and Black Eagles teammate Boxall. On the sideline, Melvin Teng, out of bounds.
So much pressure that these throws have to be put into space perfectly, and that one just a bit too far. France get it back on offense.
Big blade over the top. Into space for Fouquet. Travel called.
Travel called by Thompson.
Fouquet just keeping, or failing to keep, I should say, that pivot foot rooted, apparently.
She was taking some stutter steps.
Now the upline cut comes from Płatzakolski. Takes the centering pass where Cheminot goes back to Płatzakolski. And Vogel. the most grizzled of veterans. And I say that not just because of the very fashionable salt and pepper beard.
What does grizzled mean?
He's seen and been through a lot.
Okay.
Those of you who are at our quiz on Monday evening will look at his so-called Wikipedia article and see the number of championships he's won at the number of different teams. It's an
impressive.
imposing prospect.
Yeah, absolutely. So much Frisbee IQ, and a lovely guy as well.
And there's a deep shot, and I'm not sure Matthias was expecting it, and a really good adjustment there from Melvin Tang. GB looking to go quickly after the turn. There's no force on Thompson. She can take her time. Doesn't want that break to Mikhail. Instead going through the inside shot where Beeching has it. Who fakes the deep once, then twice. Now it's Boxall's turn to suggest about the long game. Mikhail down the far sideline. This is where GB got into trouble last time. Mikhail wants to shoot deep to the back of the end zone. He's looking for Andy Turner. And Turner has the break. First blood, Great Britain. 2-1 they lead.
And that first break going in the favor of the Brits. Pretty much the same throw Naseme Vogel wanted to put to Matthias on the other side. But this one just waited out a little bit better, arcing it around to the far side and for the player to run under it. Great stuff from GB.
Yeah, the turn came off that stoppage for the pick downfield. Vogel saw the space, that deep option that he wanted to hit to Matthias, but obviously the two of them not quite interpreting that option in the same way.
It's also, from a standstill, it's always a bit harder to communicate these deep shots because you can, as a defense, you can really also look at the field and take that one option that you see first is always, you know, slashing out deep. So you can always have a help defender, especially in mixed. It could be a male matching player, and Matthias obviously female matching. Has a bit of a disadvantage.
Often there is that size disparity, especially.
Especially when the stack is at a length and it's already near the end zone.
Yeah, there's going to be
traffic.
maybe a larger potential for the poach block with the isolation not quite having as much space to set up. So France rotates some players through as Great Britain changing things up a little bit now, coming with a zone defensively, looking at their game script that they had planned. Ansalan back to Fouquet, got Fire and Ross Nugent operating at the front. Lincoln, Agnew a little bit behind them. Turner patrols the deep space with Beeching and Becky Thompson staffing those wing positions. France, to their credit, looking unflustered here. Ansalam. Gives, gets, and France staying very patient here. Oh, a little bit of a bobble, but Fouquet makes it work in and out of the gloved hands. Very congested near the disc, finding the release valve on the far side. Eva Brunno. Running with a sister Leeson as Agnew commits. That can open up the space to swing towards the near side. Sokolski looking deep over the top. Turner's lurking, and Turner gets there first. Not enough sit on that towards the far side. The target of Cheminot was seen, but not quite executed properly. And Turner took a slightly heavy landing, and is going to be replaced for Great Britain.
That shot, I think what he wanted to put was perfect to the other side of the pitch, and Turner would have never gotten there, but that throw sits for too long and floats down, giving him the perfect angle to it. Valiant effort by the Brit. And they have another break chance early.
Mikhail isolated for the first option. Now still count getting high. Link reveals herself. Of course, was playing in the EUF Diversity Showcase game yesterday evening as well. Gets it back from Ray, who clears through. Now Mikhail. Agnew strikes, but it's sent it to Nugent. Doesn't want the dish off to Link. Now squares up, breaks around. Thompson ready to gun the flick. Opens up the air, looking for Nugent. This is going to float. Couple of defenders there. And Anselan gets it back for France.
But there's a stoppage. Apparently a foul call by Nugent, as Anselan wasn't the primary defender, but slashes through and gets a hand on it. But did he do it cleanly?
I think there's nothing wrong with maybe the contact from Anselan. I'd say that maybe Cheminot is pulling him back a little bit, but Anselan and Nugent unhappy about something, clearly.
There definitely is contact. Did Nugent have a bid over Anselan running through?
Probably not.
No, because
I feel like the discussion might be more about, as soon as that was intercepted, maybe Nugent tried to start the stall count.
Something very different
It
then.
didn't look they were talking about the deep shot. And speaking of, this one is shot deep again, just past Beeching to Lisson Bonneau. And in the end zone, Ava uncovers herself, and Borneau to Borneau puts France back on the board, 2 apiece. Neither side really look like they've hit their straps fully in the offensive phase, though.
Yeah, that was beautiful stuff out of the sisters. That deep shot weighted perfectly. A bit of box out needed because the GB defender was there as well. But Aslan putting that into space, Beeching in pursuit. But Lison to Eva fakes out the defender, turns the hip quickly, and gets that score for France to even it up at 2s. But don't forget, GB got a break. They are technically up, but we're even at 2 apiece.
Yeah, you're right that the key is that Great Britain will be receiving to begin the second half. So if we can just keep that 1 point advantage going into the interval. We can do the double either side of half, but that is a long way away so far. Still well over an hour left in this contest.
Yeah, I'm not worried we're running out of time, really.
God, no. Thankfully, there is still plenty to come. Wilson. Now the Scotsman, Dick. Again, just working around the back at the moment. Wilson slashes underneath, being marked by Nemours. And now Wilson putting a bit of air underneath it. Roberts is just shy of the end zone. They've got the one-on-one here. All defender slips, but Roberts goes away from it. Great Britain looks to transition into a red zone offense. And Briggs slips it through to Dick to make it 3-2. And that is the first clean hold of the game for Great Britain.
Same structure again, as I pointed out before, just moving the disc from one side to the other, gaining little yards to set up a perfect huck, and then just playing red zone offense for GB. France come out with matchup again. I do believe they played some kind of force middle to try and stop flow, and they did stop them for quite some time, just not enough pressure there. And what Becky Thompson, who we talked to before the game, talked about was that France probably have the best athletics they have faced yet. So the team with the highest intensity in terms of matchup defense. And France probably thinks that as well. And that's why they are coming out with match defense a lot and trying to push the athletes on that GB team.
So Great Britain with the early advantage here. The 3-2 lead as the bespectacled Lewis pulls. And I think that is going to tail just out of bounds. Nass signals the brick. Boxall's ready on the mark. Lewis and Kovshov, the handler defenders just sagging back a little bit. Just trying to muddy spaces downfield. Arsalan spots and clears through. And Vogel takes the swing to begin the possession. Levier. Round backhand, just short. Punched into Arsalan. Now threading the inside channel through to Matthias. Arsalan looking to run the give-go. Opens up the separation. Timing on continuation not there, but they clear the inside lane well. Boxall just sitting off a little bit to stop inside movement, but they can't stop the around. The break side play works well. Alexis Gerwig makes it 3 apiece. I think sides offensively have seemed to settle into a bit of a rhythm now, Christina.
Yeah, absolutely. We see France go out. We've seen them go out cleanly before for their first point of the game, but this was just one step above it, to be quite honest with you. I do believe that they have now worked their way through a bit of a challenge from the GB side, and now it's the second. We're in the second part of this game. If you want to slice it up, this was getting into a rhythm. Now it's to both of the teams to destroy that rhythm, disturb, not destroy. We don't want to destroy anything, but disturb that rhythm and come out with more energy and maybe get one gear up. Just make one more step, speed up a little more, get in there, get the blocks that they want, and put yourself into the better position going into half.
Schmidt pulls. It hangs and floats before Dick catches in the centre of the end zone to get GB's offence back underway. Briggs just calmly throws to Roberts. Roberts with the stool getting high. Eventually finds Briggs. Briggs to Dick. Roberts begins to go downfield. Often you see Roberts begin in the handling set and then go downfield when the opportunity calls for it. Wilson shooting deep for Agnew. That is perfect from Sam Wilson, who looks like a dream fit for this GB O-line.
Indeed, perfection on that throw, and that O-point showed that these GB players are both as good behind the disc as they are in the deep space. You mentioned Roberts starting out in the handler set and then going into the stack more into the deep space and creating options on both sides of the disc. I think that a lot, if not all of those GB players are capable. And maybe that will make a bit of the difference for them going in. Of course, GB have lost a game before. They have lost to Ireland, who were playing on the other field. The other semi-final going on
Yeah, the Irish taking on Italy on the other side of the bracket as the typical Limerick weather now hits. A bit of rain coming down. So discs are going to be slippy. That is something that teams will have to adjust to. And by the way, you can watch, of course, that other semi-final on ULTI.TV's other streaming field. And Italy currently 3 breaks up with a 5-3 lead if you want to do some split-screen action. But as there is with this one, plenty of game left to play. So more zone here to slow down the French offense from the Brits. Of course, this is a rematch of last year's EUC final, where Great Britain won on a mad universe point, where there was a mismatch of the gender ratio, and Rachel Thurston broke her arm, snagging the winning score.
We live for the drama, maybe not that much drama for this year's final.
But it just goes to show, I think, how tight and how close these two teams and programs are. Lewis Bids doesn't get there, but is able to get set before France can move too much further. Stoppage. Foul called by Fee-Ray.
Another stoppage for discussion. There have been quite a few discussions as we see one of the many dogs roaming around this area.
It's a very dog-friendly venue, and there have been plenty of good boys and girls in attendance this week.
Indeed. So we're back in live action. France on offense.
Arsalan showing the scubas, but putting them away as he punches through unsighted to Mbaye Vogel. Oh, Turner came into flash for the layout block, didn't get there. He's going to be out of position. France, can they take advantages? Now they pick up the pace, orchestrate the tempo a little bit higher. Receiver lost the footing but was able to regain themselves. France all the way to the red zone, a few yards away from another score. And Arsalan punches through to Mattia. And we are tied once more, 4 apiece. Still that singular break.
And Matthias with the score there for France. She put herself in a very good position on the sideline where not even our camera really spotted it. I didn't see her either. I did trust Aslan to hit someone there, so I was like, oh, there must be someone still standing over there. So puts it up in perfect positioning. And the score for France. It's exciting to have the European champion and vice champion meet up in the semi-final instead of the final. Of course, all of that caused by the draw. And speaking of finals, we have an announcement for you. Fresh this morning, the EUC finals will not be today. They will be tomorrow as planned. The organizers had previously moved the final to Friday night because of the bad weather forecast for Saturday. And after some discussions, I think, and also a change in weather conditions, finals will be, as planned originally, tomorrow, 10 a.m. the open final, 12:30 the women's final, and 3 p.m. the mixed final.
And that email has just been sent out to teams, so that is fresh, hot off the presses. Briggs scoopers over the top, Dick through to Wilson a little bit low, and with Simon Ruel split in the deep. All he has to do is pick the pass, and Ellie Taylor again with another clean GB hold, 5-4. Both sides have definitely changed the script, and after early miscues, defense is now struggling and offense is ruling the roost.
It seems both teams want to stop the other with some different defensive looks with the zones, but slicing through it. And I do think GB was slightly better at it, if I can say that from an analytical point of view. Their zone set up in the red zone again, and they were able to put some pressure on and cause maybe 2 or 3 more passes on that French offensive side. And on the other hand, this next point where they were on offense, they just sliced through that and had great continuations in a lot of space. So yeah, just clinical from GB. Very well done from France as well, but just slightly, in my opinion, slightly that second part of the game goes in the favor of GB. Let's see if they can stick with that clinical game plan. Roll a pull into the side.
GB trying to pin France on the sideline. Looking like mostly a match defense, although Melvin Teng is sitting deep, sagging off Olivier on the far side, and Mikhail's trying to gum the lane right up against Cheminot. Arsalan going for the blade around. Cheminot gets the call to leave for Olivier. An adjustment there had to be made. Bekoy. Now going around. Płatzikolski with no mark, running some give-go with Gerwig. Gerwig, just a power-up line. Płatzikolski with sticky coverage in the backfield. The two lefties marked up against one another, Mikhail and Płatzikolski. Kovshov is close, but not enough on Ansalan. Now going around and into the end zone, suspiciously open, perhaps.
A pick called early for that GB player. And I have to say, the structure in the end zone already invites picks to be called, because they're very close together. What, you know, just in one step back will already prevent the defense from pursuing. Tap in there.
The rain coming down ever heavier as it goes towards the far side of the pitch. Olivier. Sitting the backhand towards the flick side as Płatzikolski catches for 5 each.
Is that called the dad backhand, isn't it?
And that's what I call it, yeah, or the barbecue backhand.
Barbecue backhand, I love that one.
And Ansalan has got things cooking at the moment for France. Neither side has turned it over since France held to make it 2 apiece after turning it over earlier in that possession. So now 6 clean holds in a row. When one of these sides does turn it over again, will they be punished?
I think it's always very hard to be clinical on these offensive possession when you're the D-line, and it's been such a long time since you held that disc in your hand. So making that adjustment could potentially, you know, put some additional stress on the players. But they're gonna try and see what happens. GB in this point going back to matchup coverage with Carla Link as a poach. Every now and then jumping into the lanes, and I do think that's also part of the game plan of GB there, limiting lanes and trying to poach off and maybe get a poach block. Hasn't worked yet, but if you do it for long enough, at some point you will punish mistakes. Split stack for GB.
So the rain continuing to drive down here in Limerick. Quan gets the hand underneath it. Briggs comes towards the sideline. Great Britain cutters struggling a little bit for separation. Bit of swag on the knee slide there from Dick. It's going to muddy up those white tights. Maybe those muscles warm and compressed. Lewis looking for options. Not enamoured with what he's seeing. Bump on the mark.
Uncontested foul. Accepted, rather.
You caught yourself. Lewis rakes the around break. Dick not seeing a lot going on downfield. Zips it through to Taylor. Wipes her hand, get any excess moisture out she can. Lewis to Roberts, his Reading teammate. And another stoppage, I think, for a pick or a foul downfield.
Get a sliding replay of Dick. And a retracted call for Roberts.
Diskin from 2 as Roberts feathers through the inside to Briggs, taking on the around into the floor. There is the turn. Can France punish and bring us back on serve?
The first turn in quite a while. 3 points each without a change of possession.
Barte takes the deep space. Underneath instead, young Malvin Schmidt, only 20 years old. As Borno, Lisson finds over. Now Schmidt, switching up the matchups. So the 221s against each other. Dick cannot stop Schmidt taking that down the line option. A few yards away from the break, Voinesson. Schmidt continuing the break side flow. Trying to find the inside lane. They create the separation brilliantly. There's a stoppage as a player is down on the floor for Great Britain.
Again, that stack on the French side in the end zone, close together, causing these kinds of situations to happen easier. And Briggs seems to be all right. Held his knee for a little bit, but up again and a discussion. Maybe talking about whether that stoppage affected the throw into the end zone.
So both sides engaged in discussions.
It's always tough in these situations. You never know what could have happened, but that, of course. Oh, it seems like Briggs only slipped.
Yeah, they are
causing him
saying
to fall.
that goal stands. So France do earn their break back on serve in this contest. 6-5. By the way, a score update from your other semi-final. Half-time score is Ireland 5, Italy 8.
Not what I expected, to be honest, but Italy was always going to be a... Oh, Ireland is always going to be a second half team, in my opinion.
Yeah, the timeout called here, teams knowing how tight this can be, and any single changing momentum has to be respected. So Great Britain trying to flip the script here, coming off the timeout.
We are a group of ultimate players, coaches and video enthusiasts. We've worked with the major federations and the greatest events.
We're on a mission to make Ultimate huge. We want our videos and live streams to be free to watch.
We want to make stories that not only reach you,
but also reach people outside the Ultimate community.
Like and subscribe, ULTI.TV, the best in the world.
Become a member and
fund
fund
our
our
work
work.
to cover more events in the future and to bring more stories and live coverage to the eyes of the ultimate world and beyond.
Search for Hive Ultimate on YouTube to learn about our cutting-edge strategies and to see analysis of world-class teams. To find out what Hive can do for your team, head over to our Patreon page where you can gain access to our exclusive drills and session plans and to join our worldwide community of coaches. Get ahead of the curve with Hive Ultimate.
France 6, Great Britain 5 on serve here, first half of this mixed semi-final. Great Britain with an early break, but France have now earned that back, and so we are just on serve and France with the advantage.
It's an advantage that they fought hard to get back and initially lost, if we're honest, by giving up the first break to Great Britain. It's back on serve, and GB back on offense after the timeout.
Briggs with the disc. So giving away possession on the previous point. Wilson. To Briggs underneath. Thompson clears out up line, and the break goes to Wilson. Now Dick charging underneath again, losing his footing a little bit on the slick Irish turf. Kwon around to Helen Thompson. Shows the backhand. Now with Kwon being marked well by Bru. The deep shot going up on a high stall, and Great Britain turn it over again. This time Mathieu Begoin-Demont. Justine Bru. Kwon sagging off a little bit on the mark. Boyan, excuse me. Excusez-moi, I guess. Oh, what a throw. That I'm pretty sure Dick wasn't expecting, but Boyan was. And now putting some air underneath it on the high stall. It came down in the hands of the smallest player in the area, Lisson Bonneau. There is a call.
What kind of call? I see a foul signaled by the players, but I mean, Bonneau gets there read it way better, I think, or Briggs really looking to not jump over her or, you know, taking away space, but apparently Berthet and Helen Thompson involved in some kind of argument.
You're not sure precisely what the discussion is.
Oh, it's actually the French player stepping on the foot of Helen Thompson is what I saw on the replay. So that might have caused that foul. Did that influence the play? The players will decide it did.
And Berthet comes underneath instead, this is the option. Go looking down the line. Lisson Bonneau will get the goal in a much more conventional fashion. France kicking up through the gears now. They break again, 7-5.
Conventional, yes, but are we here for the conventional stuff? I don't think so. I am so impressed with Linzo Bono jumping just at the right time, and I don't want to say skying bricks because I don't think she jumped over him, but reading the disc better and coming out on top, and that score in her hands, deservedly so, for that French side. Two breaks in a row.
France now, we'll see what they can get cooking up defensively again on the break train, fully rolling with a 7-5 lead over Great Britain.
We live in a world where everything can be referenced online. Imagine if the greatest moments in our sport were never filmed. Eurodisc continues to do what it takes to make free-to-watch live streams a reality. Let's leave nothing to the imagination. We'll consume the action live, and we'll support those that help to make it happen. If it wasn't streamed, it didn't happen. Eurodisc.
France 7, Great Britain 5. After Great Britain took an early lead, breaking to go 2-1 up. France just earned their break back and then have tacked another one on. So a 7-5 lead here for the tricolore. The bleu, blanc, rouge of France.
Yeah, France in the driver's seat now. They have more energy right now. They're in a bit of a better position going into this, going towards the end of this first half. If they break again, making this a 4-point run, they could go into half with a commanding lead over GB, and that game just turned very quickly from being evenly matched to being well on the side of
So, Justine Bru, the ball that skims across the grass and picks up a bit of moisture on the way. Link with the high release to Agnew, crossing a lot of the D-line players over now. Agnew looking to go down the line to Lewis. Defender poached off, got a hand on it, nearly didn't get enough, but Lewis couldn't snag it at the second attempt. Van Riech knew exactly what Agnew wanted. Great Britain's offense really struggling. Van Riech got away with that one a little bit. Why didn't he just catch it? Bru swings. Eva Borno. France just resetting well. To the guts of the head-banded Voinesson. Taylor drops slightly to prevent the downfield throw. Eva Bonneau looking for support, back to Bru. France struggling to really get free downfield, everything through the handlers at the moment. Bru again, now here comes the deep put. Taylor has position and rips it away. Read it brilliantly. Link, how big could that block be for Great Britain? An 8-5 lead for France into half. Could already have been too much. Link goes up line, lays out just to make sure. Lewis, I don't think was expecting it to go.
And a foul called on that play. It was very close and thrown late to Lewis. And he always had to make a big play for it. As we see the replay here, we don't necessarily know what the call is. They're just going to discuss whatever. And it seems like it's a turnover and it's a retracted call by Lewis.
So again, Great Britain's offense miscuing. So the sun begins to come out here on the Emerald Isle. Another deep shot. Mikhail rips it down. France being a little bit profligate with it after the turn this point. Agnew loses his footing as he puts one out for Taylor, who snags it. But nothing coming easy at the moment for Great Britain. Thompson slips as Taylor shoots deep, and Agnew brings it in for the score. Gets a little bit of a bump from Fenrish, but slaps of hands, and normally it's Taylor catching it rather than throwing them, but she can open up the arm when she needs to, and how Great Britain needed her to there.
Absolutely. Third time's the charm for GB. They make it at their third attempt of offense. Put that point in, and it does have a very different ring to it. 8-6, 7-6, or 8-5, just in your head makes such a big difference here.
Interestingly, both of those Ds came from gender mismatches, but you saw that one there from Mikhail, just of the floating deep putt, and the first one, actually Taylor getting the better of the male matching French receiver by just dropping in, poaching into that space.
And we'll get a replay of that as well. She read it to perfection, did Ellie Taylor there, jumping into the lane, and we've seen her all week long run tirelessly across that field. It seems like she never stops at all. And she got that assist as well, putting up that deep shot to Cameron Agnew for the score. Really putting her team on the back here.
Mikhail just testing the wind before the pull. And he skims it, a roller across the turf and out of bounds.
He did practice that before the game, the perfect roller. And it's that mixture of distance and roll that is so hard to get. But of course,
seems like there's going to be a slight alteration of the force. Thanks, Connor.
Backhand for one, JB. Did you hear that? Backhand for one.
Backhand for one? I think it's backhand for one.
Is it backhand? Oh. But just for one.
See if they can get the sideline trap. Platsakolski collects the first pass underneath and then to Fouquet. Fouquet leading towards that far side. Ansalan comes high. Now Platsakolski again. France looking to punch in for half. Turner getting very active on the mark, on the high stall, finds the way to utilize the throw and go movement to see that inside channel. Fouquet leading pass to Ansalan. High, popped up to Fouquet. No further around. Past the bidding Simpson, Cheminot stands firm. And here's Umbe Vogel. Umbe Vogel going to try and sit the backhand blade around. What a grab that is by Clara Mattia. And France will take an 8-6 lead into the break.
It seemed like a miscommunication, just putting that disc into the end zone. Nobody really running, but then came Mattia from the back, laying out after the catch. We see that point going from one side to the other, changing the angle of attack. And Bevogel collecting low, faking the inside, and then seeing two players run, both of them stopping as well, but then that disc with enough float, and the number 1 gets it for the score to lead France into half.
A strong half from France, who were a breakdown early on, but fought it back and added another one to give them a potentially decisive advantage going into the interval. Halftime score here in mixed semi-final action at EUC 2023 is France 8, Great Britain 6.
We are Hive Ultimate, a group of players and coaches from all over the world working together to progress the next generation of Ultimate strategy. We've helped top teams win world championships and new teams introduce the sport in a fun and inclusive way. Search for Hive Ultimate on YouTube to learn more about our cutting edge strategies and to see analysis of world-class teams. To find out what Hive can do for your team, head over to our Patreon page where you can gain access to our exclusive drills and session plans and to join our worldwide community of coaches. Get ahead of the curve with Hive Ultimate.
Always on the move? You can keep up to date with ULTI.TV on all of our social media channels. Like, follow, subscribe, share us with a friend, or send us a message just to say hey. Thank you for supporting us in our mission to grow Ultimate everywhere.
Here are the match stats for you at halftime, powered by our friends at Force Sportswear. And as outfitters of France, they will be pretty happy with how that has gone. 8-6 the score, 2 breaks to 1, and both sides hitting with the same number, the same percentage of their break chances. France have just generated twice as many, and they've generated turns on more O points for GB as well.
But in general, just the same amount, nearly the same amount of turns, and that one turn gave the difference as France already started on offense to start this first half, so they will come out on defense starting into that second half.
Yeah, Great Britain, their job obviously begins straight from the resumption, having to punch in that hold first and then see if they can claw back that first and then second break. France with the advantage of starting, of course, on the offense.
And for those of you who are not quite aware or haven't ever done that math, on a game that is all holds or it goes to serve, choosing this offense, starting on offense, is the thing to win. So if you start on offense, you will have offense on universe point, and you will win this game, which of course I am hoping for because I love a bit of drama. I'm hoping for universe point. I'm not biased whatsoever. I like people from both of those sides.
You just like the drama.
I love the drama. Here for the drama. And a universe point is the only thing that would fit a game like that, because it's the two teams that met each other in the final 4 years ago. So what else do you expect? Like them not giving it their all in the semi-final, going to universe?
Of course they are. So, second half about to get underway. Great Britain on offense, receiving, as we mentioned. First time we're seeing Sam Vile out there, I think, for Great Britain. So maybe shuffling up the lines a little bit, or potentially this was always part of the game plan, just to have something different to throw at France in the second half. France seem pumped and focused. As the ball pumps deep, and Briggs throws the first pass to Vile. Dishing off to Briggs again. Everyone set up very deep for Great Britain. Roberts can't work her way free. And Great Britain switch around the back. Vile punches down the line to Taylor. Back to Vile, who goes around here to Wilson. Now finds Roberts. Roberts to Kwan, he's got plenty of space. Vile just sits one out towards the break side, Wilson. Dick is in so much space, and there was a pick probably a while ago. Presumably on the initial cut out there from Andrew Dick.
I was wondering what he was doing with that disc in his hands, moving up the field, but of course that disc has to go back.
Yep. With the force a bit far off, Wilson ground taps it back in. Vile fakes off Kwan. Goes towards the near side, where Briggs finds Taylor on the gainer. A couple of players in a similar space, Roberts. A foul called.
GB slowly walking, making their way up. They're not walking, of course they're running, because they are athletes, but slowly advancing.
Taking their time in possession as Vile, first time we've seen in this game, and he makes an instant impact with the score. That's the hold Great Britain need, but can they get the disc off a French O-line that has not turned it over since it was 2 each?
Well, I don't think France, excuse me for that, France have a designated O-line. They trust many different of their players, and all of them are very good at keeping the disc and make this in their hands and making the right decisions as well. And we'll see. I think it'll take a lot of effort and maybe something special on defense for GB to put France into a position where they will lose the disc. We heard before the game that they want to poach in the lanes. They want to try and make France guess about their options, their open players, and how to advance the disc. And we've seen it before. It didn't work out quite well. They weren't stifled really, and we'll just have to wait and see what happens.
Helen Thompson pulls out of bounds. Sorry, Becky Thompson. I knew I was going to get that wrong once this game.
Twins, of course, the Thompsons.
Just more than a bit identical.
Of course, not wearing the same number, and this is a way to
that
distinguish
would be,
them.
Yeah, I know, and they don't play the same lines either.
Oh, I didn't wanna like put it on you.
Rub it in, but I mean, it is my fault. Apologies to the Thompson twins. And Bovogel to the VAA. Bit of a floater, but no one can quite find a way to disrupt and interrupt it for Great Britain. Fouquet just fakes a little give off to Mbaye Vogel. France going backwards at the moment and throwing right into Simpson's clutches. Great Britain in the red zone, working quickly and working for the break. Carla Link to Becky Thompson. Dream start to this second half for Great Britain, earning one of those breaks they need 8 apiece. Well, a bit of a change defensively, and it proves to work a treat.
Yeah, that zone came out early in the game, but hasn't been here for quite some time, and that defensive switch up made a difference for them. They're playing a very similar zone to what Ireland put on earlier against various teams, having a set 3 people in the marking and a 4th person coming in every now and then, trying to minimize the different throwing options you have. At least this is how I would describe it. You have 1 person marking to stop that around, 1 second person for the inside, 1 for the direct shot that is movable in between wherever people are, and then 1 4th person taking on either the reset handler on this open side or clamping in if you want to put more pressure. And there was a lot of pressure on that French side. And a quick turnaround, a switch mentally for GB from defense to offense, attacking that end zone and getting a break to start the half.
Of course, that 1 break alone is not enough. If they are to win this, of course, they need to get at least 1 more, while of course not being broken themselves. But essentially at 8 apiece, we've just got a game to 7.
The same zone coming out again. You see even a 5th person clamping around that disc.
Turner trying to cheat underneath a little bit. Currently patrolling that deepest space. Watzakowski doesn't like the little dish to Nass. Running some give-go and getting a bit more energy and dynamism through the offense. Fouquet on the sideline to Lisson Bono.
6 players now in and around that disc as it is as they're trapped on the sideline. Someone's got it there, that overhead shot.
Yeah, it's not really that windy, especially for Limerick as that one is tipped, but still ends up with Arsalan. But the rain certainly is going to make any spicier options a bit more slick and send that up the Scoville scale. Trying to get the ambitious shot through, executed brilliantly. Płatzakolski out to Mattia on that far side. Great Britain look to get their defense set back up. There's the blade over the top from Mbevogel to Arsalan. Arsalan again. Great Britain will try and pin them on this sideline as Arsalan threads it through to Eva Bono. Bit of a slip there, but so far doing a very good job of finding space and slowly crafting their way downfield. There's the thread through. Can they work from it? Just outside the red zone. GB look to firm up here. Back to Mbevogel, to Arsalan. Superbly worked possession for France, and they make it 9-8.
At the second time of asking, that zone just maybe nothing of a surprise anymore for the French side. They did struggle quite a bit, and they held it on that forced side for a while, but always finding those little pop passes through. And as they advanced up the field, the zone got looser, holes got bigger, and Ancelin manipulating the mark so well, threading it through. And on this far side, they score to go up and keep their tight lead.
So the winner of this, of course, plays the winner of the other semi-final, currently taking place on ULTI.TV's other streaming field. And the current score there is Italy 10, Ireland 9. So the host nation coming into it a little bit, but Italy still with the advantage at the moment.
The gap is closing slowly, and I've always thought of Ireland as a second half kind of team. I also remember talking to one of the players, I can't remember who, saying they haven't always had the best starts into games and have had to come back. And maybe they got a little lucky with their matchup there in Italy. Apparently they are giving them the space to come back and make that game tighter.
And we've had guests from both sides on our evening show, Limerick Late Night Live from 55 this week, presented by ULTI.TV in association with our friends from Eurodisc. And you can watch that and all of the action back from this week on our YouTube channel, as the bid there from Schmidt, I think, just put Briggs off a bit.
Yeah, that bid over the disc, it looked like he was flying too high to get there. And that's a red zone for France to go up a break. He didn't even touch that disc, just was there and put pressure on.
Simon Ruel wanting to go back to Schmidt, the two young studs in the backfield. Schmidt zipping it through to Ruel. All the hard work Great Britain had done to earn the break back. They surrender it immediately, and France go 2 up again, 10-8. Looking at that gold medal match.
Well, and Schmidt doing all the heavy lifting there for that offense in the G-line. Schmidt picking up after his pressure on D. Looks for an option and threads it through an outside flick. And Ruel celebrating that break. So a score and a break for each team to start the second half, and we are back on serve. We are not. France are up a break.
Yes, both sides trading 2-point runs in this second half. Great Britain would love another one of those and then some.
They will need it as well if they want to keep playing.
Oh yes. Again, still time for the comeback. Until that last point goes in, it is still all to play for. Very vocal French support on the sidelines. A reminder, of course, that the finals now being played again tomorrow.
Bronze medal matches are, of course, still today.
And that's the match that neither of these sides will want to have to play. Mikhail. Going around to Link. And with players slipping all over the place, it's thrown behind Agnew. The rain again just slickling up the surface. And both sides just struggling to stay up a little bit. Schmidt pumping it deep, looking for Voinasson, and Voinasson brings it down for France. Another break. Certainly the warning shot that GB sent them has been responded to emphatically. 11-8 now the lead.
We have talked about these young players on the French side again and again saying, oh, they're only 20. They don't have enough experience. They do. They have been in this situation. They have been in finals and semifinals in the under-20 division. And you can see so much experience. Schmidt launching it deep. And of course, both these players have a silver medal, a silver world's medal in the under-20 division.
Yeah, Voinasson, the 21-year-old there for France with the punch spike after the goal. And Great Britain in dire straits here. What a comeback they need. France with an 11-8 advantage. (11-8), France in the ascendancy against Great Britain. They started half 8-6 up. Great Britain held and then broke to tie us at 8 apiece, and it's now 3 on the spin for a France side that at the moment is destined for final stay tomorrow.
They have gone on one of those 3-point runs before, and GB have done well to stop him in this first half, the end of this first half. But it's a new half. It's different energy. The French look so confident and calm, and like nothing could ever disturb them. It was a high stall count. That shot was perfection into the end zone. 3 GB players in pursuit, but nothing they could have done to stop that break.
And France, on offense, are so scarcely surrendering the disc that Great Britain's job is very hard as Becky Thompson punches the inside through to Wilson, dished off to Lewis, and now again to Becky Thompson, with actually both the Thompson twins playing on this point. Lewis bounces as he catches. Dick dishes through to Wilson. Swung back to Lewis, floated all the way over towards the far side. Foul called by Helen Thompson, being marked by Juliette Rouel.
You see the spacing of the GB side, moving from one side to the other. And it don't quite know, it was just a foul during game.
Yeah, just that matchup away from the disc. Of course, Great Britain have won every mixed EUC gold medal.
And it's going to be a contested foul.
Back in. One reaches with the right hand. Zipping one, looking for Taylor. It's out of the side of the pitch. GB on the ropes. France looking to deliver yet another haymaker.
A miscommunication gives that disc back to France again.
Bru wants it all, but I think that was always gonna be covered.
Yeah, that is, it happened before, but not in the way GB are playing right now. They are under a lot of pressure to score that. They're back on 0.
One lays out and does keep it up. And now continues around to Dick. Dick just shelves that big inside-out backhand. Wilson comes off the front. France making life so tough for GB right now. Kwon leaves it for no one. Even if you think someone's behind, she seemed like she was in a good position.
You gotta get there. You
I
gotta.
agree.
It is also, in my opinion, it is your cut. If you're from the handler space, slashing up the line, anyone down the field will see you. You will not see them. It is your disc to catch. Another timeout.
I think that's one of those quote-unquote unforced errors that is kind of sneakily forced by the pressure, the intensity of this French defence. And they're going to take the timeout in the red zone here on the breadth of a break that could give them a decisive advantage.
Break!
11-8. France with a timeout in the red zone here, with Great Britain giving possession back to their opponents. 12-8 would be such a good advantage. 4 points ahead with only 3 needed for victory. But teams have at times often struggled from the dead disc. Brew in the backfield. Gets it up line. Faking going back into the backfield for Benjamin Farish. Now Mathieu Begawandemo looking around. Brew not quite in the end zone, but that one is. And France with another break. How well they responded to Gibri tying us at the start of this second half, because it is now 12-8, and this one is running away from the Brits in a hurry.
Indeed it is. The game clock ticking down. 15 minutes left, and France really on a roll. The energy is on their side 100%. Brew with that catch just in front of the end zone and puts it into that end zone to...
And just have a look there. France with nearly double the amount of passes of Great Britain. I think they've just kind of been generally maybe a bit happier to keep recycling through those reset options.
Yes, and I also think that is to some extent good for GB, because their zone look pushed France and they managed to get a lot of passes off of them. And the more passes you take, the more mistakes you make as well. There's statistics on that, believe me. Anyways, it just makes sense, right? The more you have the disc in your hands, the more you're prone to make a mistake eventually. That hasn't worked out for France particularly well yet, but, well, I think that is a good outcome, though, if you think about them not making mistakes. (12-8) the score, and GB have to get this one to stay in the game.
So bringing some more D-line players out there, just rotating things through, desperately trying to flip the squid. Mikhail toes in. Fakes around, and then threads one down the sideline to link the hole that GB needed. And this not just wanted, needed.
Yeah, that would have been lethal. They wouldn't have punched that in, but we're not talking about that now. We're talking about they score, they did. Just punching it down the sideline. Why even use the whole width of the field if you don't need to? Agnew to Connor McHale, and then just up the line again, towing the line first faking that lefty scoober and going for the backhand into the end zone. Pulling many D-line players over to play offense now, try giving someone else a go of holding, and that worked out very well.
That's the first job done for Great Britain, just getting the D-line out there on the field.
4 more to do? 4 more jobs, 4 more breaks, ideally. Which would give them the upper hand, of course, but that is a lot to ask and not a lot of time and loads of pressure from the French. Conor McHale, of course, with 2 assists and a block. It's a lot, given he's mainly a D-line player. And you'll see why here with those pulls. But that one landed just out of bounds by 30 centimeters.
It's not much, but it's enough.
Almost in, is still out.
Umbe Vogel to Ansalan for the first pass as Great Britain decide that zone is the order of the day. It's how they generated the turn on France's O-line at the start of this second half. Now Scuba's over the top, and now the continuation swinging around. Constantly trying to keep Great Britain defenders moving, not letting them get set into position. Matthias crashes through. And now back to Ansalan. Able to really continually slice open through the teeth of the front part of Great Britain's zone. Płatsikowski wants to go back to Ansalan, but instead around to Umbe Vogel. France happy going slow. Know that they don't need to be aggressive, push the pace, push the tempo. They can just take the options as they present themselves. Bad bid there from Simpson late. Apologises as he picks himself up. Umbe Vogel around to Ansalan. Relatively still here in Limerick this morning, despite the rain. So those kind of more exhilarating options are available. And now France pick up the tempo, and Płatsikowski dishes to Ansalan. France 2 points away from a gold medal match tomorrow.
GB coming back out in that zone that already got them 1 break, but the French were ready and set to run through. Ansalan seeming to have a lot of fun as he gives and goes and jumps and runs for those discs, and the rain increases once again, pouring down quickly. Might change the whole setup of the game once again.
So the rain ticks down heavier again. Seeing there, what a stat line for Gaël Ansalan. 3 goals, 3 assists, and a block to boot. And the wet weather and a rollicking France side at the moment, extinguishing Great Britain's hopes of a gold medal, with the Brits having won gold at every EUC mixed before this.
A gentle reminder to all of you British fans out there that this could be the end of that race. But nothing's over till it's over. 13-9. There's 2 tasks now for GB. Hold cleanly, ideally, and then go on a break run to win this game.
France have done it. It's been shown that it's possible in this game, but France's O-line surrenders the disc so rarely. They've only given it up twice all game. That matters for naught, though, if Great Britain can't get France's O-line back out there. That is not going to help things.
The disc turnover at the brick mark. Red zone for France to bring it within one of a finals berth tomorrow.
The breakout star Schmidt. Task with conducting the D-line offense as a pick is downfield, and the rain comes down heavier once more.
Every single time that stack of the French was in the end zone, there was a pick called as well. Got to watch your spacing, people.
Back in play. Fanrich after collecting from Schmidt. Going low, a sliding grab made there by Boyon. Schmidt takes that up line space from Briggs. And it is hammering down now in Limerick. Begwan Demo spreading it out wide into Schmidt. 14-9. France 1 away from doing the unthinkable and eliminating Great Britain.
Oh, it's very thinkable and it's very real, gotta tell you. I know you don't want to hear it. I know probably half of our viewers don't want to hear it as well, but it is reality now. And France seem to be not influenced by the weather at all. It's pouring down rain and they still take those beautiful round shots and doing everything to put that disc into the end zone.
You're right that it's not impossible. It's just not been done before. France have dropped a couple of games along the way, but always managed to get it done in the end. And Italy 14-12 up, receiving to try and close the game out in the other semi-final.
This is definitely not how many people thought it would go, but it is the reality now. France looking to close that game out on a break. We see the sign for full women, but not a very sure sign, so asking for confirmation, I believe.
There's a huge cheer behind me, and I think that probably lets you know that Italy Island has gone to universe. So time for some split screen action as the rain pounds the Emerald Isle. Great Britain very much hoping this is not pathetic fallacy for them. The weather not mirroring the mood, the atmosphere, but it is dire straits indeed. Roberts has Lewis clear through. Spreads to Taylor. Taylor to McHale. Some very wet and weary legs out there. And the Hawk undercooked. Picked off by Simon Ruel. Can France keep it up? No, Berthet lost the wet disc and Helen Thompson picking it up. Thought about the quick go there to Melvin Teng. Lewis shoots looking for McHale. Voinesson cannot get there. That is the first part done for Great Britain as Conor McHale wipes his brow, having previously turned it over. They've got the hold, but France will have 5 chances to hold for a finals day place tomorrow.
It seems like a lot. It is a lot, but I have seen games turn because of the rain in these conditions before, and I'm just so eager to see what happens. Can France stay strong, or will GB find a way back? Still a universe point going on for Ireland and Italy on the other field. As Andy Lewis on our stream here gives advice to the people out on defense to start what for all GB fans hopefully is a run of breaks.
This is it, do or die. This is what you trained for all those years. There is a result in the other game. I'm not going to spoil it just yet. As Great Britain going with the rolling ball. Ansalam Fields first pass to Umbe Vogel. Can France find a way? They'll have enough opportunities, so they don't have to hold here. But boy, would they like to not let it get any closer than it has to here. They've done most of the hard work. They just need to apply the finishing touches, dot the I's and cross the T's. Umbe Vogel. Matthias underneath. Now short, Mikhail Bidson doesn't get there, down line! And France are not there just yet, as a pick might bring this back.
A pick, and also I do think Matthias might have jumped into the end zone but wasn't quite there yet. I'm not so sure. Of course, we're on the other side of the field. I do think it's close though.
Andrew Dick on the other side seems to be indicating a travel. So on the end zone line, Matthias. Umbe Vogel. Can France pick themselves up again after what could have been the win? Comes back. Umbe Vogel muscles through. Doesn't like Ansalam, with Link just stepping back slightly to dissuade it from going. High release. Over. Fouquet down the line is going to require nothing at all in the bread basket. The thrill of victory and the agony of defeat. Great Britain, for the first time at EUC, will not be winning gold because they have been undone by a masterful performance from France.
I can't find words yet. That British side gave their everything, but France just punishing every single mistake the British gave, and that weather really played their part, its own part in it. And in the end, European gold will go to France or to someone who won on the other stream field, and you can watch our coverage back and look for results there.
And his spoiler alert, so if you are planning on watching that game back, cover your ears for a second. France versus Italy in the final tomorrow. Sides going through their post-game handshakes. We're going to see if we can grab a post-game interview. We'll see if France are able to come over and speak with us. Their fans staying out here in the pouring rain to celebrate the victory. There's the final point again. Fouquet stayed calm, took the option, the around backhands in to Olivier. And 15-10. In the end, France were far, far too good. Their offense turned it over. What? Let me just do the maths here. 4 times all game.
That is impressive and so well done, and that's also what it requires to be a finals team, right? Clinical offense and good pressure on defense, as we are with Schmidt and Umbe Vogel for our post-game interview.
Yeah, Christina's going to hop off the headphones. Nas? Melvin? Merci. Congratulations. How do you feel?
I'm so excited because it's the first final for me in seniors, and it's a great game with all of team. British, ils ont fait un gros game.
They play great. The GB play very intense during the game.
Merci. Thanks GB and thanks my team.
What's it like as such a young player getting to play with a team that has such kind of pedigree and experience?
Comment tu te sens pour un jeune joueur de jouer avec une équipe qui a tellement d'expérience avec beaucoup de joueurs? Je vais me dire en français, je traduis.
Vas-y. Honnêtement, c'est un honneur. C'est un honneur. Je joue avec des légendes du Frisbee, avec des joueurs tous aussi forts les uns que les autres, avec beaucoup d'expérience. Et je fais que de m'en fournir à chaque match. Et ils m'apprennent beaucoup et j'espère que ça continuera comme ça.
It is a big honor to play with a lot of experienced players on the team. Every day you learn a lot and you enjoy playing with such a great team.
What was key today, do you think, to the victory?
C'est quoi la clé pour la victoire?
Être unis, la défense, rien lâcher et faire confiance à notre offense.
Be tight in defense, stay together, have a very hard defense and trust the offense line.
Trust them to go out there and get it done. We'll let you get back to celebrate. Merci beaucoup.
Thank you.
Thank you to both of them for coming in. Two players at very different stages of their careers. I think Nas is over double Malvin's age, but both of them played brilliantly today. There are the match stats for you, powered by our friends at 4 Sportswear, who, based in France, will be pretty happy, I'm sure, with the results. 6 breaks to 2, just cleaner on offense, generated 3 times as many break chances, and still hit on a 50% ratio. That's how you get the job done, Christina.
Absolutely. The 50% ratio implies for both teams, but not getting the break chances also means you cannot convert these breaks. It was just an impressive performance by France, and I think GB were there for most of it, but in the end, that second half was always so favourable to France. The change in weather, I thought, just wouldn't help France as much as it did. And I'm a bit surprised about that, to be quite honest with you, because GB are used to the rain, I believe. And then in France, I know rain happens in every region of the world, like nearly every region, of course, but there's a very different climate that is not used to it, and them handling it so well just shows what athletes and what skill is on that team already, and they are very deserving of that finals spot tomorrow.
And they have put down a marker here with bracket wins over 2 of the pre-tournament favourites, Germany and Great Britain, and they will face an upstart Italy in the final tomorrow. So for those of you who have not heard the announcement, the finals are back on Saturday. The weather forecast looking a lot more favourable then, and it's got a lot worse this evening. And I think a lot of players from the teams had been hoping to see that move back anyway. So finals tomorrow, so the way it goes, 10 o'clock open final, 12:30 women's final, 3 o'clock mixed final. We still have both the semi-finals in the open and women's division before we stream the bronze medal games today, where we will see Great Britain versus Ireland in mixed at 3 o'clock, and the women and open's bronze medal matches are at 5 o'clock. So that is the state of play here at EUC 2023, where history has been made. Great Britain will be denied the chance to play for gold after a brilliant France will play Italy in the final tomorrow. For all of us here at ULTI.TV and Christina Obermeier alongside me, Benji Rees, we'll see you on the other side for women's semi-final action.
I wanna be yours, I wanna be alive. Everybody dance, don't stop. I just need a minute to find out what I'm feeling, cause I'm about to go nuts. And my team is trying to say what's up. I've been waiting for this my whole life. Wanna do it again 3, 4 times, cause it's better than a dream. Highway with young lean, I will never get enough. So what a nice surprise. You're all I ever had in mind. I'm happy in the sky, a big case of desire. I will never say goodbye. That's right, that's right, that's right. I wanna be yours, wanna be alive. Tell everybody to pull up. There's a party, we can go all night. I will show you how to run the red light. If you wanna, you can call me mine. Somewhere on the highway, under the starlight, you tuck me in your arms tight. Damn, it feels right. So what a nice surprise. You're all I ever had in mind. I'm happy in the sky, a big case of desire. I will never say goodbye. That's right, that's right, that's right. I wanna be yours, wanna be I wanna be yours, wanna be alive. I know less about balance. With you.
Thank you. Thanks.
Yeah, ultimate.
ULTI.TV.
Some things in